Hi, mathematicians. So you are finished with part 2 of this chapter. So we are going to work on the ACE assignment. So your ACE assignment is loaded in modules for you, and I think you can access it from Agenda as well. It looks like this, so you should see some shapes at the beginning of it. We are not doing all of the questions as usual. We're only doing some of them. So go ahead and set up your notebook page the way you'd like to. Have ACE at the top, your name, and approximately the date of 9/14, depending on exactly which day you work on it. We are doing all of 1 through 10 to start. So for 1, it says this is a regular polygon. So remember, if it's a regular polygon, that means all the side angles are the same. So you've come up with a formula lately for figuring that out, and so you guys were already really good at that. The question is, what is the degree measurement of one angle in each of these shapes? So you're going to have one angle there and one angle there. Question 2, or all these actually, it says, does the length of the side of a regular polygon, once again, these are all regular polygons, does that side length affect the sum of the interior angles? So you have 3 equilateral triangles here, and then you want to think about the angle measurements and whether that changes when the size of the shape changes. So you're going to answer that, yes, it changes, or no, it doesn't affect it because, and then tell more information. Okay, moving on to question 3 through 10. On 3 through 10, you have some figures that are regular polygons and it tells you, and then others, it defines what kind of figure it is. For example, if it's a parallelogram, then we know that opposite sides are parallel, and that does affect the shapes, whereas a trapezoid, they're not parallel. So it makes sure it asks, or it tells you that information, but what the question is asking you is the measurement of the missing angle. So you know that all 3-sided shapes, triangles, add up to 180, and all quadrilaterals add up to 460, and you know the others as well. So you have to find where X is in each of these. So that is all of 3 through 10. You're just going to answer that in the same way. Okay, we're skipping 11. We're going to move on to 12. So for number 12, you're looking at this shape. It has 12 sides, a dodecagon. You want the sum of all of the angle measurements and then the measure of one angle for this dodecagon. And then the question is, can this shape tile a flat surface with no gaps and no overlaps? In other words, can it tessellate? So remember, it cannot have any gaps or holes. And this is asking, can it tessellate with one shape only? You can't mix it with other shapes. So to set that up, you're going to talk about the sum of the angle measurements, a single angle in degrees. Make sure that you're always putting the degree symbol where it belongs. And then you're just going to explain yes or no, it can or cannot tessellate, and why. 13 is a multiple choice question. You just choose the one that's the best for you. And these are also about tessellation. So when it says tile a flat surface, they're talking about, will it tessellate? Okay, after 13, you're going to skip a little bit, so you'll have to scroll down quite a bit. You will come to question 17, and I really like question 17. I hope it makes you think, but that you're capable of doing it. But be sure to ask me if you have questions on this one. Okay, there are lots of important parts to this. First of all, equilateral triangle. That means that each of these angles are equivalent to one another, and you can figure out what those all equal because all equilateral triangles are the same, plus they all add up to 180. Then we have a line of symmetry that is bisecting the triangle. So bisecting means cutting in half exactly. So that means the left side is exactly the same as the right side. So once you know that, it's going to help you with the other angles. The other thing to know is that this pink drawn line on your picture is perpendicular to, so perpendicular is kind of like this. It means it goes directly up and down from the bottom line. And when something is perpendicular, it will always form 90-degree angles in what is perpendicular to. So what I'm saying is this line and this line are perpendicular, and they will form 90-degree angles where they intersect. So that's going to help you be able to identify for 17 all the angle measurements. Be very careful that you actually do the ones in here as well. as the vertices, and don't do this whole side. It wants to know the smaller version and the smaller version up here. So there's 6 all together that you need to make sure you're identifying for 17. Okay, you only have one more part to do, and it's question 25. So we're skipping from 17 all the way to 25. And 25 has some shapes with diagonals. We've not done that. It's kind of new. So you're taking the information we've already done and you're applying it to a new kind of problem. So it's an extension, which is the E and A. So this is supposed to make you think just a little bit more outside of the box of where we've been doing. Okay, for 25A, they tell you they have these irregular shapes for you to look at, and they've drawn diagonals. They don't explain what diagonals are, and that's on purpose. But if you look at the shape, this pink line is a diagonal, and this pink line is another diagonal. You don't have to have both. Each line individually is a diagonal. There are no other diagonals that are possible to draw for this shape. This one, same thing. Each individual line is a diagonal, and there are no others to draw. So the question is, how many does this shape have? And you're just going to answer that here. How many diagonal lines does this one have? And then it asks you for B about a hexagon and a heptagon. And then it goes through and asks you to do the whole chart. So if something has 4 sides, how many diagonals will it have? And you may have to draw pictures. 5 sides, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all that, all the way up. Okay, so you're going to go through and figure all of those out, and that is the last part of ACE. You're going to upload a picture as you usually do of ACE to submit as your assignment. It should be reviewed for you with a few new extensions added in. As always, let me know if you need anything. Hedgehogs rule.